Hi, my name is Madison Rye, Application Engineering Manager at Ally PLM Solutions. Thanks for joining me today to talk about the capabilities of Teamcenter. Today we're going to talk about PDM and PLM, challenges faced by many companies that are unmanaged, what having a single source of data provided by Teamcenter is going to mean for your company, and I'll finish with a live demonstration of Teamcenter. The life cycle of your product is from the early concept stages through design development all the way to when your product is obsolete. Siemens offers a wide range of products to support this life cycle. Solid Edge and NX for drafting and design, NX Simulation, Solid Edge Simulation, and FEMAP for analysis, Technomatics and NX CAM for manufacturing. All of the data that gets generated during this life cycle needs to be managed, and Teamcenter is literally the most used solution in the world for this. Teamcenter connects all aspects of product data management for all users for the entire life cycle of the product. So why do we need to manage this data? Well, think about your product data. It's not just CAD data anymore. There's material specifications, tooling. We have all of these different files, and they're stored throughout your company. So you might have an access database for part numbering, or you might have your CAD files on the network, and then you have CNC files and manufacturing on another system, and so on. All of this makes it very difficult to find things, and it's hard to know if you have the latest and greatest when you do find them. So I could sit down, for example, at my computer and do a search, and I could get back 3 of the same name file. Well, how do I know which one is the latest? Well, I try to use the date maybe to figure it out, but I'm really not 100% confident that I have what I need. In addition, having this stored all over your company means you might have to actually go somewhere like down to manufacturing or over to quality to find what you're looking for. And you might have to enlist the help of somebody there because you're not familiar with that system. Or I might sit down and do a search on the network for something that I know is out there because I've seen it, a piece of data, and I just can't find it. It comes back empty all the time because I might not be searching in the right place and not even realize it. All of that is time consuming and frustrating. In addition to that, change is coming. We know what's going to happen. So let's say the customer specification changes. What else does it affect? Possibly your analysis or your tooling down the line. All of these things are interconnected in a structure, and they affect each other. So we're not going to stop the change from happening, but what we can do is we can understand what happens upstream and downstream of the change that gets affected by the change. So we understand the scope of what's happening. That way we can make an informed decision. So how does Teamcenter do this? Well, let's look at the way you have things today and the way things would be in Teamcenter using a virtual product called IT, an imaginary product. It could be anything. But associated with this product, we have quality documents, manufacturing information, customer requirements, all these things that we talked about, and they come in many different forms. So you might have Excel documents or other Office documents like Word. You might have tooling or CNC files, and you might have CAD files, and these CAD files could be anything. They could be what you're using, or maybe you get some files that you share with your sister company that's using something else, and maybe your supplier is on another CAD platform and is sending that to you. So all of these pieces of data come in many different formats, and they are, again, spread across the company in different locations. In addition, we have what we call attribute data associated with our product IT. The part number, the part name, the customer part number, all these things associated with one product. Now in Teamcenter, we get an item master. Underneath that, we get item revisions to incorporate the changes. So we take all this data that's stored in all these places and different forms, and we put it here in Teamcenter, and we capture the changes with revisions. So we always know we have the latest data. And we have integration with every major engineering program you can imagine. So all the major CAD players, you can store that information and interact with it in its native format. And then we take all of the attribute data and we incorporate that in attribute forms. So now we have the ability to search by attribute. So if I wanted to search on all the one specific material, pieces that we make out of one particular material, if I'm in purchasing and I want to try to get, bulk ordering or something like that to get the price down, I could do that very easily here through the attribute forms. So then when the change happens, I make another revision. I capture that information in the change. I might have some unique things here in revision C from revision B, and I might have some things that are the same. Let's say this Excel document is the exact same document. We're not going to copy that data over because everything is stored in an encrypted volume that's managed by a database for Teamcenter. So this is just a link to where that data is. So I can copy the link, but I still preserve that single source of data. So having all of that data together in one location in its native format, and it's up to date and easily searchable, allows users to make better informed decisions. Speaking of users, we need to get the right information for the right user. So imagine that this is that volume. So it's that encrypted volume managed by the database in Teamcenter. So all of your documents are here. Now, we have different roles in Teamcenter that allow you to access different information and act upon it in certain ways. So for example, your customer might just need access to see the PDF of the drawing. They don't need read-write, they just need read access to see this. That's one type of role. Another type of role would be the engineer. The engineer needs a much wider array of information. The engineer needs access to analysis and the CAD model and the drawing, all of that information. And the engineer needs write access or author privilege to be able to adjust the CAD model or actually add the CAD model or create it, add to the cost roll-up or do the analysis. So that's another type of role. The marketing person might just need access to the cost roll-up and the specification and also, the visualization. Quality might just need CAD analysis and the drawing and so on through your departments. The role lets you have access to the data, only the data that you need, and lets you act upon it in only the manner that you need. So we truly get the right information to the right user. So now we have all of our secure data here. We have it up to date. We know we can search on it very easily to find it. And now through the role, you allow your entire organization to have the right information at the right time. So to summarize, Teamcenter provides a single source of data and enables and speeds the process of finding the needed data to reduce errors and rework. I've seen people recreate things because they can't find them, and Teamcenter eliminates that. It also ensures that you have better quality and repeatability because all the departments are storing their data in the same system and following the same processes. In addition, because Teamcenter is so tightly integrated with all the major CAD systems and all the major engineering programs, it ensures better collaboration with people inside and outside the organization and enables reuse of existing data. Teamcenter truly is a powerful program that encompasses many areas of business. You see the top tier of this platform here. This is really the PDM, or the product data management, where we're going to manage our designs, our documents, our BOMs, and our processes. As our company grows and our requirements change, we might extend to include the ERP system and integrate manufacturing. And then we might transform in the future because we want to look at our carbon footprint and include sustainability requirements. All of this is possible because of Teamcenter's flexible platform. So that brings me to the portion of my presentation that's the demonstration. And in this demonstration, I'm going to play 3 roles. The first is that of an engineer. And the engineer is going to be in the Teamcenter application, creating an engineering order and initiating a workflow. So accessing data and leveraging workflows. Then there's going to be the CAD guy. And the CAD guy is going to do all the CAD work of the engineering order. And finally, I'm going to be the checker that makes sure everything's correct and then documents that change. So as the engineer, I'm going to walk you through the user interface. We're going to look at different ways of searching and then take a look at the visualization capabilities. So let me introduce you to the Teamcenter interface. You can think of this like Outlook. So you have an Exchange server with Outlook that exchanges your email with your client application that retrieves that information when you need it, and you have a web app if you're away from your desk. Same thing here with Teamcenter. There's that secure volume managed by a database on the server, and this application is on your client machine and allows you to access that information through your role. And we have a web application as well. And now we have something called Active Workspace, which is for tablets and phones because it's a like touchscreen interface, and it handles that, so it's really nice for the future. This application here is on your desktop. It's very Windows-like. You can see File, New, Open, Close, things you're used to. In the Edit menu, you see Cut, Copy, Paste. As I work my way to the right in the toolbar, you're going to see more application-specific tools. And in this case, the application is Teamcenter. Underneath, you're going to see a row of icons, and those just allow you quick access to tools that are here in the toolbar. And this is fully configurable to whatever you want to put on here, just like any other Windows program. In my navigation pane over here, I see I have search, which we're going to talk about in detail shortly. We have quick links to home, my work list, things that I do frequently or visit frequently. Quick links to open items, quick links to history, things I've done in the past there. Favorites, which works just like Internet Explorer, so I can have a link directly to something I'm working on a lot. And I have things that I want to do here, create an item or a data set or a form. And I can also do this through the menu. And this, again, is fully configurable to what your business needs are. In the bottom, I have more tools in my Teamcenter toolbox, and we'll talk about those as we go along through the demonstration. In the middle here, on my Home tab, I'm going to see whatever I've opened. Again, just like Outlook, you get a list of your email, you see what's in them over here. So I can see on my Home tab here, showing on my Summary tab, I have that I'm the owner and the date modified and some other information about it. All right, so now we talked about the interface. Let's walk through an engineering order. So I'm going to be that engineer here, and I've received a field report in my mailbox, and the field report is telling me that we have a problem with our prototype motorcycle. So it seems that the rear wheel's coming off the ground on the motorcycle in the back when we're in a hard braking situation. So we still have a little room in our specification to extend our wheelbase a little bit and gain some valuable acceleration ability and put some more force on that back wheel. This is the fork yoke here shown in the field report, and the fork runs right through these two holes. The front wheel is right here, and then this hole here attaches to the frame of the motorcycle. So essentially extending this by 15 millimeters or a half an inch, I'm going to move that front wheel out, extending my wheelbase. So I need to do an investigation to see if this is really a possible change that we want to make. So I'm going to use my search tools and just the part number that I see here. But before I do that, I just want to show you something fast about the search tools because it's one of my favorite things. You can see I just typed in something that I know is going to bring back a lot of results here. And you can see I have 5 pages of results that I got that quickly. You can see here's my yoke right there. There's the fork holding the front wheel. Here's the frame. And I'll show you a better picture later. But I got back my results that fast because Teamcenter harnesses the power of the database. All of your attributes are stored in one table, and then the search just has to go access that table and return them to you, unlike a Windows search. So this is a huge improvement. I mean, it's like it is one of my favorite things. So now what I'm going to do, and then I also have access to search on any of those attributes that we talked about. I have a bunch of save searches here, and then pre-configured, and then you can save your own right here. So I'm just going to use one of the searches that I use frequently, and I'm just going to use, maybe I don't remember that whole part number. I'm going to use a wildcard, and then you can see all the possible things you can do with the search. That's just a tip of the iceberg there. So when I hit enter and for my search, you see how fast that is, that I get back the results that quickly. And that's the fork yoke that I'm looking for. When I open this, I'm going to see that it opens in my home space here. Now, you're used to seeing a lot of network files that are in a list. Because everything's stored in that secure volume, it's encrypted. We can't backdoor our way in and see a list of files and get to them. We have to go through the correct security with our login and our role to see the information. This is just a link to where that's stored in the secure volume. So if I delete this, it's not going to delete the data. It's just deleting the link to where the data is. This is the item master, and then here's the item revision that you see underneath. And you'll see that it's tagged with a 60, meaning it's released. So this part is released. I'm not going to be able to make a change. I'm going to have to create a revision. And 60 is just an old industry standard. 30s available, 60s released, and 90s obsolete. Underneath my part revision, where I can store all my information, you'll see I have a drawing, and then Teamcenter creates automatically a PDF of any drawing. So I have that done for me. I have the actual part file, which happens to be a solid edge part, but the same functionality is available with any CAD package. And then I have this JT file here that's created automatically for me as well. And that's what we're seeing here in the viewer is the the lightweight JT file. And it's a very accurate, precision, ISO standard format, and that Siemens actually created. And so this opens the viewer up to everyone. You don't need a CAD license. Anyone in your company can access it. So you don't have management or somebody from purchasing coming and saying, hey, show me that 3D file. Everybody can see this now. In addition to that, I have a huge amount of tools. I have 3D markup, measurement, PMI, sectioning, a lot of power here in this. So I'll just show you a couple things. Like if you wanted to actually measure between these two holes, you could get the exact measurement. If you want to just get some more information maybe about this particular feature, you could get that information there. And if you want to send this ISO file or this JT file, that's an ISO standard, out to a customer or supplier that's not connected to your Teamcenter, there are free viewers available for anybody to download. And then you have control over intellectual data because you have control when you send it out. You can say if you want them to be able to measure or even print, you can keep them from even printing. So that's excellent power there with the viewer. So now what I want to do is create a markup because a picture is worth 1,000 words. I want to convey very quickly what I want to do with my engineering order. So anything that I could do on paper, I can do right here electronically. So let's say I just want to circle that maybe. I want to attach some text here. I've got some that I've already typed into a notepad file, so I can just paste it. I want to move this hole out 15 millimeters in the Y direction so that I can keep that rear wheel on the ground. But also we talked about all that attribute data here that you see. I have access to all of that attribute data that I can tag this file. So for instance, if I just wanted the part number on there, I can put the formula, and then when I put it on the markup, you'll see that it's the actual part number there. So then I can save this. Maybe I want to put that same information in there. And when I save it, you're going to see that it is available here as part of my JT package, my JT file. It's a very powerful viewer that we have. All right, so now that I've created my markup, which is going to tell everybody exactly what needs to be done and why, and will always be here to search on, I can I need to determine that we talked about the scope. So I needed to figure out what happens upstream and downstream of this that's going to be affected by the change. So very quickly I can see that this part is used in an assembly, this fork assembly here. But not only that, where used, I can see where referenced as well. Now I can tell anything that, like let's say there's a work instruction or some CAD or some CNC G-code that needs to be adjusted or analysis that's attached to this. I have access now to that structure, to all those interconnected things in that structure. I can tell what changes upstream and downstream happen because of this so that I can make that informed decision between where referenced and where used. I get all of that. So now I can go and I want to take a look at the BOM. So we talked about the tools in our Teamcenter tool belt here. One of those is Structure Manager. This is where we view our BOM, and we can have multiple BOMs in Teamcenter. We can have an engineering BOM, a manufacturing BOM. Let's say we want to include oil or some packaging information. Here I can see I have some subassemblies associated with this assembly. I've got this released part here, so I know I'm going to make a change, have to make a change. Then I have all the attribute data as well that's here, and this again is configurable to whatever your company thinks is important as attribute data. Now I have access to all my viewer capabilities right here too. So I can see the full assembly. When I click on something, it's highlighted in the BOM view and vice versa. So these, and then I have access to all the markup and view tools and even more. I have clearance analysis. I can do all sorts of things because I have my assembly in here. In addition to that, these things don't even have to be the same CAD. So I could have one CAD file that's maybe, solid edge, maybe this is NX. I can create an assembly out of, because they're using the lightweight JT, out of the native CAD parts. So that's huge if you're getting things from suppliers or sending things to customers, and you can create those without having to translate, to check things here. Okay, so very powerful tool our viewer is. All right, back to my home here. So I want to just recap. We have looked at the interface, how familiar it is, easy to use, so your engineers can get up and be running quickly, and all the people in your organization. We took a look at how quickly you can retrieve data. I mean, it's lightning fast. One of my favorite things is that you can easily find what you need so that you don't waste time searching for things. And then the powerful visualization tools where you can create a markup or do any clearance analysis, all those type of things, assemblies. So that means that your company has fast and efficient data access. Next thing is we need to create an engineering order, put together the reference data, and then start the workflow. So back to my interface here, I can very easily create an engineering order. I'm creating an item here, and I can have a choice of number of different things. Choose the engineering order, and I'll let Teamcenter assign the next available number. You'll see the schema here is EO and an incrementing part number. You can have this be your company's schema, and you can have smart part numbering so that you can choose some things based on some other things so that you get that smart part numbering. Now maybe I want to put this information in again here, but you see these starred items, those are mandatory, so I can't save this until I do that. And I have, again, this is configurable to whatever you think is important for your company. So I can star any of that information or add other attributes that's important, and you can't save until you fill those out. I see I have my engineering order here. I have a revision of it underneath, so item revision again, and this is revision A, so if something changes down the way or somebody says, wait, you should add this, I can go back and send out a revision B of my change engineering order. I have some forms in here. Now these are just generic forms based on best practices. You'll see a change request and a change notice. And whatever your forms are at your company, they can be configured here. So typically people already have a Word document. Can say that, so that can be actually put in right here, and you can interact with it in this interface. So I'm just going to fill out a couple of things here. Again, I'll put that information in, say we're on high priority, and then you can see how that works to interact right there in the Teamcenter interface. So now that I have my forms filled out, I can add my reference data. And because these are just links, I can just grab the link to that field report, and I can put it right here. So now everybody will have quick access to it right here from the engineering order. Another thing I want to do is I want to add a link to the my part. You'll see how fast my search came back using that wildcard and just the last 3 letters there, or numbers, sorry. When I copy this into my clipboard, you're going to see that I have the ability now to copy multiple things. So I want people to have a direct link right to that markup because I want them to see it right away. So you'll see now I have multiple things there. Then I also want them to have access to that assembly. So when I copy that, now that's in there. And then when I go back to my reference data and I paste this in, you're going to see that I have all of those things pasted at once, which makes this very nice. All right. The last thing I need to do, my company requires me to fill out a problem report. I have one here saved on my desktop and filled out so that we don't waste time filling out the paperwork. But here's the motorcycle that we're talking about, and then here's the yoke attached to the frame in the middle hole, and then the fork runs through that holds that front wheel, runs through there. So you can see what needs to be done, what the problem was, what the fix was. because of the tight integration we have with Teamcenter, I can create any Office document and then I can save it directly from Teamcenter. Now you're going to see that I need to log in here, but you wouldn't have to do that because I'm playing 3 roles. So I'm playing the engineer, the CAD guy, and the checker. So I'm going to sign in a couple times where you wouldn't have to. But you can see right here, I have access to all of my Teamcenter home information and locations here. I have my mailbox, I have my searches, my new stuff, which is where I'm going to just save this. But because of that tight integration, I can see right into that right into my Teamcenter interface. And then maybe I want to put that description in here again. Whoops. Of course, I have to copy the right thing to paste into the description. So that's get some nice feedback here saying that my file is saved right into Teamcenter. So then when I go back to my Teamcenter interface, I can see in my new stuff here that I have that Word document. So one way I can interact with any Office document is I can go right to the Office tool, Excel, Access, whatever, create a document, and then I can save it directly into Teamcenter from there because of the tight integration. But the other way I can interact is right here in the Teamcenter interface. So let's say I forgot to put something in that Word document. I don't have to go back and open it up and save it and put it back in. I can easily just make that change right here. I have access to the entire Word interface right here inside of Teamcenter. So very tight integration. So I'm going to cut that file. That doesn't mean that it's gone. It just means that the link to it is gone. So now when I paste that in here, I have all the reference data I need. And the last thing I need to do is I want to make sure that because this part revision, this A revision, is not going to be used anymore, I'm going to put it in here into the obsolete parts, and I'm going to let Teamcenter take care of doing the obsolete work for me. I'm going to keep my engineers doing value add work and let Teamcenter do the busy work behind the scenes. We'll see that at the end here. So now I have an electronic package that's searchable, that's current, that everybody can see right away. It's not a manila folder that's got markup, printed out stuff that's floating around our engineering department somewhere. This is fully accessible by everyone now, and everyone can see that a change is being made. So the next thing I need to do is put this in the workflow process. This brings me to another one of my favorite things about Teamcenter, the power of the workflow engine. So here I have just an example of a simple workflow, but any process that you have, most places I've been have their processes very well documented, but it's very hard to tell if those processes are being followed because there's no way to check on that. So here, with Teamcenter, you can add any one of your processes as a workflow, and then Teamcenter makes sure that process is followed. This is just somebody reviews, and then if they approve, the status changes to released, and if they don't, then nothing happens. It's a very simple one. It can be as simple or as detailed as it needs to be. Here's another one that's more detailed. We're going to use the Engineering Quick. So what this is, the EO Quick is the first step is to complete the request form and add the reference data. You'll see that here. The next step is make the changes. And then the last step is review and check. So this is the basis of most, like a high-level view of most workflow, where somebody asks for something to be done, somebody does it, and then somebody checks it. Now I just need to assign who is going to do this work. I see my 3 steps here. And I also see my organization, and this will be your organization. I see all my departments, and then I see, we talked about the roles people have. This is the author role. So my engineer has the ability to read, write, and has access to the data that they need. So I could assign my engineer to that first task there if I wanted to, and maybe I wanted the whole engineering department to have to approve it. So I could set my review quorum to 100%, and I could pick the whole department. Or maybe I want to pick both management and engineering, or because they have to review it at the same time, or maybe manufacturing and engineering have to review in parallel before it goes to management. I could set my review quorum to to numeric and say 4 out of 6 of each one of those have to approve before it goes on. So I could do that in parallel to save time. So I really have all the flexibility and power I need right here with the workflow engine inside of Teamcenter. I also have assignment lists that allow me to very easily automatically assign people to the tasks. Let's say I do this release quite often, and so I save something that is the same people, and then also I could just say, or it could be groups, same people or groups. So now Teamcenter does that for me, so I don't have to assign each person individually. So now I can see here on my home space that I have my engineering order has a workflow icon next to it. And so now everybody will see that. So if, let's say, somebody down in purchasing goes to order some parts because this prototype yoke is almost out, and they're supposed to automatically reorder some when it gets to a certain level, but they see, wait a minute, something's going on here, I better check on this. This can save you a lot of time and money, having everybody have access to the change right away. Now, because I assign this to myself as the first step, if I go to my work list, I'm going to see in my tasks to perform that I have this engineering order here that I have to take a look at. And then I have access to all that reference data. So let's say I want to take a look at that original field report or the Word document or whatever I need to look at, I can see here in the package. I have a very nice electronic package that allows me quick access to everything I need. But because I'm the one who created this and I know everything's there, at least I know I did the work, so I'm just going to approve this for the CAD work to be done. And when I approve it, you're going to see it's going to leave my task to perform, and it's going to show up in my task to track. So this is another extremely important benefit, is that I can see very easily the CAD guy has it and no decision has been made. So I don't have to go track it down. I don't have to go find out who has it and where it is in the workflow. I can easily see it from the interface here. All right, so now my work as the engineer is completed. So this can now move on to do the CAD work. All right, so we talked about the roles different people have that allows them to act on data and have access to different data and what they can do with it. I showed you the powerful workflow engine so that everybody can see immediately things are in flux, are changing. We talked about automatically assigning or individually assigning, which allows great flexibility. And all of this boils down to having a consistent managed change process in your company. All right, so now I'm going to take off my engineer hat, put on my CAD hat. I'm the CAD guy. I need to search for data. I need to revise this part and update the drawing. But because I'm the CAD guy, I don't really want to go into the Teamcenter interface. I want to stay in my CAD tools and my office tools that I'm comfortable with. So again, you can see that we have this Teamcenter tab here right in our Outlook application. And something I didn't mention is that you'll also get email notification as well. Now I had to sign in there again, but you wouldn't have to do that. But I'm going to get an email for every task that I have to complete, that I can look at it in Outlook and interact with it there as well. So here I see that I have this task to perform in my tasks right in Outlook. I can go to the folder view and I can see right inside my Teamcenter interface, so I don't even need to go there. I can just see my work list right away here because of the tight integration we have. I can see that I have my task to perform. I can see all the reference data that I need to right here from my Outlook interface. I could go look at this Word document if I wanted to in Word, or any of these things to see what needs to be done, but I know that I'm going to have to change this assembly here as the CAD guy, so I'm just going to go to my Solid Edge interface and look for that assembly. So this happens to be Solid Edge, but it could be, again, any CAD tool. So you'll see how fast that search was. I found my assembly. I have some options here. Again, the CAD tool is talking to Teamcenter back and forth. So I have, because of the tight integration, I could just get the latest, or I could get only the release things or the last 3 things. I could even see the BOM view right from here. I get some nice feedback saying this is what I want to open, so I open that. So my searching from my CAD tool, any CAD tool you use, is that fast as well. I mean, if you've ever tried to search for something without, Teamcenter. So file open means download this assembly to my local cache and check out the top level assembly to me. I get a read-only copy of everything else in the assembly until I try to edit it. Now, as a CAD user, I'm comfortable in my CAD tool. I'm used to it. I just get some more information here. I just see a few changes, and that's this message that this is checked out to me. I get some information that some of these other parts are checked out to other people, and I even get the information of who they're checked out to. So if I was to in-place activate or try to edit this part, I'm going to get a message saying that I can't do that because it's checked out to somebody else. I can only have a read-only copy. So those are some of the changes that the CAD user is going to see. Now, because I know that part is released and it does not fit the form fit function requirement, I'm going to have to rev the top level assembly. Teamcenter handles that. The CAD tool is talking to Teamcenter, and I get the next available revision there. Teamcenter handles all that for me, and then I can see I've got my attribute data. If I wanted to fill out some of that attribute data that's specific for this revision, I could do that. But Teamcenter is always talking to your CAD tool, making sure you have the right level of permission to do what you're trying to do. And now that B-level assembly is available to me here, and it's seen by everybody else in the Teamcenter interface. Now I can just go into my part to edit it, and I get this read-only assistant here telling me, hey, this is released, you can't do that. So very nicely in this same interface, I get the 2 choices that I'd want to do, save as or revise. And again, Teamcenter's going to take care of the revision for me because it's talking with my CAD tool, any CAD tool I'm using. I grab the part, but it also notices that there's a draft file here. So it's going to revise that draft file for me too. I don't have to go to a where used and find the draft or see if there is an even draft. Maybe I don't know if there's a draft file. But this takes the busy work away from the engineer, so I can do the value-added engineering work here. And so now that I have the B revision, I can make my changes. And Synchronous is going to make this very easy for me because I can act upon the 3D model. I don't have to go back to the sketch and change anything. So maybe I didn't originally do this model. I can just easily change it. You'll see the blue areas there that I've kind of stopped and left highlighted for you. Those are the things that Synchronous technology knows that since I'm changing this surface here, moving it out, all these other things around need to change. So my design intent is kept intact with Synchronous. Now I can go back and turn on my assembly. It looks like it's a little out of place, but don't worry, because when we go back to the assembly, everything's updated nicely for us. That's exactly what we wanted. So now all I have to do is update the drawing, because I know the drawing's changed, and this just kills me because it's so fast. That where used, if you've ever tried to do where used without Teamcenter again, it can be very slow. You see how fast that came up there to find my drawing for me so that now I can go and update it. I get the message saying that my drawing views are out of date, which I know because I've made a change here. So I just go and update my views, and you can see that the part changes. And then I even get some nice feedback here from my dimension trackers highlighting what dimensions have changed. This one's gone from 50 to 65. This one's gone from 35 to 50. So those all reflect my 15 millimeter change. So I can just clear those out and also show you that if I check the title block, now I have Rev B here automatically updated. Everything here, the new date is what I want. So that looks good to me. And if I say I want to save it, that means to the CAD tool, automatic check-in. So open, automatic check-out, close, automatic check-in. And then I have a chance here to adjust any of the attributes that I want to, and if I wanted something specific for that revision. And then again, that's configurable to what your business needs are. to add the attributes you guys think are important. And now when I go to save the assembly, I only get back those things that have changed. So I'm going to see that I've got the assembly and the part only, not the entire assembly. So now I'm taking that from my cache, putting that, saving that back to the volume so that it's secure on the server. And my work, my CAD work, is finished. So now I can go back to Outlook, because I want to say I'm done with my work here. So right here from my Outlook interface, I can say I just need to sign off on that task. So my work is finished. The CAD guy is done. And then I get some great feedback again saying that you know, the task is complete, and you're going to see that task disappear from my task list here. Now it's moved on to the checker. So we talked about having that secure volume where everything's stored. We talked about the searching directly from your CAD tool, how quick and easy that is. That you get some we also talked about how you get some information in the navigator saying, hey, this is checked out to somebody else and this is checked out to you, allowing you to easily tell, so that allows collaboration between your entire team so everybody can work on their own part in that assembly. And then we also showed the integrated revision process that Teamcenter handles by talking to your CAD tool. And again, that can be any major CAD tool. So, and also Outlook, having Outlook in that tight integration. So that means all of these things have that tight integration to Teamcenter, which allows my CAD user to stay comfortable in the CAD tools and get up to speed very quickly without having to learn a new system. So now I have to put on my checker hat. And because I'm playing 3 roles here, I'm going to go and log in as my checker. So normally you wouldn't have to do this, of course, because you're only going to be one, hopefully you only have one job. All right, so what we're going to do now is the checker is going to verify the change, finalize the workflow, and then generate a report. As a checker, I can come in, and again, I can easily go to my work list and see that I have this, now the task has moved on from the CAD guy, and now it's in my box of things to do. So I can see again here, if I wanted to go see that original field report, you'll see my visualization tools are kicked off because I've opened this for the first time as the checker. But you'll see that field report. Any of these things that I want to see, I can see very easily. Part of my job here is to check the drawing. So I'm going to take a look at the revision A and the revision B drawing. And because I like not wasting time and I want the engineering staff to be doing engineering work and not busy work, I'm going to let Teamcenter do the work of the comparison for me. Because if you've had to sit down with a drawing and look back and forth with a paper drawing between 2 things, first you've got to identify what those changes are, and then you can determine if those changes are what you want. Now here, identifying the changes, that's not an engineering task. That's, you know, something anybody could do just to look. You know, that's not value-added work by your experienced staff. So here, Teamcenter does that work for you and identifies that the things that are different are red that are revision A and are green that are revision B. So very easily I can see, okay, 35 was the original dimension, now it's 50, that reflects my change. So I can now just use my time to identify if those changes are what I want, not to have to identify the changes in the first place. And I can even see in my title block, because this is pixel by pixel, the original rev was A and now it's B, so I can even check to make sure my title block is correct. So that's a huge productivity improvement there, not having to do the identification, but actually getting to do the work. So now part of my other job as a checker is to compare the BOM. So I'm going to go to my structure editor again, and I'm just going to again let Teamcenter do the work of the comparison for me, and I'm going to stick to the value add work. I can even do a report here. So that quickly, Teamcenter identifies that there highlights the things that are different in these two BOMs and even gives you a report down here saying, hey, this has gone from A to B. That's huge. I mean, again, if you sat down with a 5-page list of BOMs with a highlighter and tried to compare back and forth, it's not value-added work. So now your staff has more time to do more value-added work. Huge improvement. Another thing that I need to do as my checkers, I need to go and review the history on this to make sure everybody's done what they're supposed to do, which Teamcenter, it won't move on obviously until it does, but just as a kind of final check, I like to go through and say, okay, I see the CAD guy has approved this, the engineer has approved this for CAD work. The CAD guy did the work here. I get the time, date stamp, and maybe I see that the CAD guy took too long, and I see, well, he's got 10 on his plate, so maybe I can see there's a bottleneck there and assign more resources and take care of that. Another way that I can take a look at reports is to use the report builder. There are many pre-configured reports I can use in here, or I can create my own if I want. I'm just going to use this sign-off report here. I could fill in some criteria, or I could fill in a name here if I wanted to, but I'm just going to get to the overall report because I know a lot of places have an engineering meeting Monday morning. I know I used to when I worked at Cummins, and everybody would go over all the open engineering change orders, and you'd have to get a spreadsheet and put them all in and see where they are. Here, that's done for you. So I get every process and what the status is and what work's been done. So I can see here's my yoke modification process right here. I can see everything that's been done to it. This is just the tip of the iceberg with auditing that I can do. It's amazing the reporting that can be done. All right, so now that I've done my work as the checker, I can very easily come in here and say, now I need to just finish this off because I've checked it and it's all done. Maybe I say checked. And then once again, it leaves my tasks to perform and shows up in my tasks to track. And then the last thing that I need to do is just verify. And here I can easily see that my revision A now is at a 90 status. So again, I don't have to worry about that. Teamcenter takes care of that for me. All right. That's what I wanted to show you in our demonstration. That last portion, we looked at the BOM compare and the drawing compare so that now my engineers have more time to do actual engineering work. I have showed you the traceability with everything that's recorded inside of Teamcenter, and then the reporting and auditing. And this means that your company's best practices are now enforced. So in summary, Teamcenter does provide that single source of data so that all your data is in one location, up to date, easily accessed by all of your people through their role. You have control over that. Your quality and repeatability is ensured because now everybody's following those same processes. All those company processes that are well documented now have Teamcenter enforcing them. You have relationships between different data types, so now that you can truly see the scope of the change so that anything that upstream or downstream is affected, you can see in that impact analysis. We have integration into all the major applications, all the major engineering applications, so that you can view things in their native CAD format without doing an import into another CAD system. And because we can find things so quickly, Teamcenter harnesses the power of that database. We can reuse and share engineering knowledge because we're not recreating things. And then I showed you those powerful visualization tools that allow everybody in the company now to use them without a CAD license. So Teamcenter truly connects all aspects of product data management for all of your users across the entire life cycle of the product. Thank you very much for joining me today.